You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
Coming up, a controversial project for US 41 and Stickney Point Road up for debate today. We'll have a live preview.
Plus, one ballot at a time, the recount continues. The machine problems one Florida county has encountered so far.
And parking meters in St. Armand Circle, one step closer to reality. We'll tell you when you expect to pay to park in the circle. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. And good morning, early risers. Glad you're with us. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Jess Dowdrick. It's Friday Eve. We're following two breaking news stories this morning, so we're going to start with those. Overnight, two separate crimes in both Sarasota and Manatee counties. In Manatee, sheriff's deputies are investigating a homicide.
Yeah, it's a grisly one. Investigators say a witness found a man on fire on MJ Road in Mayaca City about 11:30 last night. He was pronounced dead by EMS. Detectives have not released any other information about the victim, but they do say they are investigating the death as a homicide. If you have any information, call the Manatee County Sheriff's Office.
And in Sarasota County, sheriff's deputies are investigating a shooting that left one man injured. Around 8 o'clock last night, deputies responded to 18th Street. They quickly set up a perimeter and a helicopter searched the area for a suspect. Deputies later arrested that suspect on Euclid Avenue, less than half a mile from where the shooting happened. Deputies say a man was injured and taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital. His condition is not known this morning.
And at 5:01, let's check that forecast now. As predicted, John Scalzi said there'd be a change this morning.
Well, we've been talking about it for a long time now. It's finally here. Our first significant cold front that's going to change our pattern for an extended period of time. It's on our doorstep, and it's still creating a little bit of patchy drizzle across the region, but this is in the process of kind of falling apart, and I expect by lunchtime anyway, it'll all be gone. The moisture you see to the north of us is lifting off to the north, and by the time it gets closer to us, it will pretty much have fallen apart. We're looking at a fair amount of cloud cover today, though, no doubt about that. But by later in the day, we'll start to see more and more holes in these clouds begin to develop as drier, cooler air filters in. Is it here yet? No, not really. Not the cooler air anyway. 70 Mayaca, Lakewood Ranch, 69 in Bradenton, 69 in Sarasota. It's a couple of degrees cooler. Just that, a couple of degrees cooler. We've probably already hit the daytime high for today, but we might gain a few more degrees as we head into noontime if we get enough sunshine. We'll call it about 74. We've had a 73 overnight. We'll up at about 1 degree. But by afternoon, we'll watch those temperatures fall off markedly. Complete forecast in a minute.
Didn't take long. Cold fronts here, and John's got a cold. 5:02, let's check the traffic right now. Here's the scene in Manatee County. A little buildup there on State Road 64 westbound as you head through West Bradenton. Also 14th Street West northbound as you hit the Cortez area. Farther south, let's check the scene there in northern Sarasota County. Not much to report so far. Then farther south, in our final map to the south, our South County friends waking up with no issues to report as of 5:03 on this Thursday morning. Well, the corner of US 41 and Stickney Point Road in Sarasota County has sat vacant now for more than 10 years.
But now Benderson Development wants to build condos, shops, and a restaurant on the corner lot and call it the Siesta Promenade. ABC 7's Marla Spence has a preview of today's county commission meeting and what it means for the future of this project. Marla?
Well, Jess and Ray, Benderson Development will be meeting with Sarasota County's Planning Commission on their plans to bring major retail, hotel, and housing space here. It'll be known as Siesta Promenade. Now, the development has been in the works for some years now. Benderson wants to build 414 apartment units, a 130-room hotel, and retail shops made of 140,000 square feet. The entire project will cover about 24 acres of this property. Now, Benderson also says Siesta Promenade will create over 250 jobs and $10 million in tax revenue. The only issue here is that some people who live in this area oppose the idea.
My concern is getting off and on the key. You know, I mean, it's usually horrible during season, but it's getting to be more year-round. And now I'm concerned that with the additional development, which we're not stopping what they are allowed to do, but the substantial increase they're looking for is going to add so much traffic onto the key that it's going to be hard for me to get off and on the key. And God forbid there is an emergency.
and other people in this area also concerned about traffic. They're worried that traffic will be poured out into their neighborhoods on their already narrow roads. Now today, Benderson Development will be meeting with that planning commission to talk about their plans ahead of building on this property. And many people who oppose this idea, who live in this area, say they will be at that meeting at 5 tonight. Reporting in Sarasota, Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Marla. A local company is creating a new technology that they say could save lives. The Trace ID company showed students at the State College of Florida a powerful impact from a very small amount of chemical in an explosive. The Sarasota company demonstrated how their product can detect explosives. It's a chemical formula that is placed on a wipe. If an item has a trace of explosives, the color on the wipe turns purple.
Anytime we can add another layer of safety to traveling or to the general public at events and concerts, it's a tremendous thing.
It was really nice getting to see our work come into play, from something as small as equations on a board to products in our hands that we were testing. It was just nice to get to go from start to finish.
SCF is hoping to get more students interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. Trace ID's product is now being tested by TSA and Homeland Security.
The clock is ticking. We are now about 10 hours away from a very important deadline here in Florida. Counties across the state are scrambling to complete ballot recounts from the midterm election that could determine the next U.S. Senator, Governor, and Agriculture Commissioner. Barring a last-minute court-mandated extension, Florida counties face a 3 o'clock deadline to wrap up their machine counts. Unofficial results may bring a conclusion to the governor's race, where Republican Ron DeSantis leads Democrat Andrew Gillum by 0.41 percentage points. In the U.S. Senate race, Republican Governor Rick Scott is slightly ahead of Democrat Bill Nelson by 0.14 percentage points. Now, some counties have warned that they may not be able to make today's deadline.
But here on the Suncoast, both Sarasota and Manatee counties are expected to meet today's deadline. Even after an error earlier this week in Manatee County, election officials there are expected to be done by this afternoon. Sarasota is already done, they say. Election workers have been working around the clock to meet the deadline. Also, because of recount efforts, Northport Commissioner-elect Pete Emmerich's swearing-in ceremony will be postponed today until Monday.
Parking will no longer be free beginning next year along St. Armand Circle. Starting in January, visitors will have to pay to park in the city's iconic shopping and dining district. The city plans to install a combination of pay stations and single-space parking meters next month. On-street paid parking will start once the Circle's new parking garage is open.
Parking meters in the prime areas, that is the Circle and the extensions just off the Circle, are $1.50 per hour. The perimeter areas are $1 per hour, and then in the surface lot off Fillmore, it's 75 cents an hour. The parking garage, believe it or not, is only 50 cents an hour.
Lyons added the new pay stations are easy to use.
A restaurant customer in St. Petersburg is accused of stealing a live lobster out of the tank at Red Lobster. Police say this woman here on your screen, Kimberly Pudlak, reached into a water tank, grabbed the lobster, and ran out of the restaurant. By the time police found her, she no longer had it in hand. She said she was drunk and did nothing wrong. She's facing charges of disorderly intoxication and theft.
Police in Largo are searching for a man who dressed up as a woman and bought a French bulldog worth several $1,000s. Bryant Farfan used a stolen credit card and driver's license to buy the puppy from a place called All About Puppies. If you've purchased a French bulldog from Farfan or know where he may be, you're asked to call Largo Police.
Thanksgiving is a week from today, and an organization in South Sarasota County got some help making sure everybody has a meal. Helping Hand of Englewood is a nonprofit social services agency that relies on donations, especially for the holidays. Their biggest contributor, the All Faiths Food Bank, was only able to give them 175 turkeys this year, short of what they need. And that's when local businesses stepped in to make sure all families have a holiday meal.
What makes a community strong. No matter what happens, we go through it together and we take care of each other. That is why I'm so passionate about it. So it doesn't matter if it's turkeys, if it's helping Christmas angels, if it's about helping Red Tide, whatever it is, it's our responsibility as a community to come together, and Englewood always does that.
There are other Thanksgiving food drives happening this weekend all along the Suncoast. You can find details on our website, mysuncoast.com, under the Help the Hungry section.
The Sarasota YMCA is celebrating Thanksgiving a little early this year. This weekend, they'll be giving out more than 600 turkey dinners to families in need. The meals serve 8 and include turkey, veggies, sides, and a pie. If you are or know of a family in need, you can visit the Sarasota Y this Saturday at 9 in the morning. They'll be handing out meals until noon.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, how a community helped a grandmother's wish to go to Disney World. We'll have that story for you.
And coming up a little later in the hour, the death toll in the California wildfires continue to rise. What the National Guard is doing to find missing people in those affected areas.
It is 5:10 on this Thursday morning. This is not locally, fortunately. This is St. Louis, a live picture of a roving camera in Missouri where the situation's a little worse there.
Yeah, while we talk about a cold front moving in here, they're dealing with snow and ice there. Let's head over to meteorologist John Scalzi for a look at what we can expect.
Yeah, we'll show you that radar from that area in just a few moments. I have not checked any of the inclement weather boxes. Even though there is a little bit of patchy drizzle around, I don't think it's the rainfall that'll be a problem for you this morning. In fact, I don't even think there'll probably be a problem. Just watch out. Some of the roadways are a little slick from overnight rains. We're watching actually the rains and drizzle begin to dissipate away and leave us with a mostly cloudy afternoon. Temperatures, though, will be falling later today. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Happy Honda Days are here, and you're gonna like the holiday clearance savings. Save on the Accord. On sale for just $249 a month. That's the North American car of the year for less than the competition. Our most impressive Honda ever. On clearance for only $249 a month, loaded with more options, including a turbocharged engine and Honda Sensing. Do not miss these Honda clearance savings this week at your local Honda dealer.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership, both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
Teachers inspire our children and promote a lifetime of learning. So ABC7 and Gettle Automotive want to honor these chalkboard champions by giving them the chance to win $500. But we need your help. Go to mysuncoast.com/chalkboardchampions to nominate an outstanding teacher who's really making a difference. And each month we'll deliver $500 to one teacher in Sarasota County and one teacher in Manatee County. Go to mysuncoast.com and nominate your chalkboard champion today.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
We have an air temperature that has dropped just a little bit, and I think will probably drop a little bit further before we perhaps warm a little bit after dawn breaks and maybe get up to about 74 before we start to trail off again this afternoon. We have a wind that's now out of the north-northwest. It's breezy as well, gusts as high as 20. That has led to several kind of wind-related issues. There's a small craft advisory out there. We also have a rip current problem, I think, developing a little bit later on this afternoon as those winds become stronger out of the northwest. 67-degree dew point, that is falling, and boy, that is going to continue to fall. Believe me, it's going to get nice and dry, and humidity is just going to vanish over the next several days. A little bit of light rain out there right now in places, but it's not a really widespread issue, and it is in the process of kind of falling apart. We'll go with rain chances that diminish through the afternoon. We'll look for a few scattered showers moving into Highlands County right now, and as I mentioned, just a little bit of light rainfall along the coast, but nothing all that heavy. As we head into the afternoon, I think some drier air will start to filter in, and maybe we'll get a glimpse of the sunshine perhaps, but there's a lot of moisture still out there because of the generally colder air and drier air coming in over the generally warmer Gulf waters, picking up the moisture from the Gulf and creating these low-hanging clouds that do have a little bit of drizzle associated with them. What we're waiting for is that balance to shift between the moisture being picked up by the winds over the water and the drier air filtering in from the north. Eventually that drier air will win out, and we'll start to watch the cloud cover begin to dissipate away. Those scattered showers, I don't think will be a big problem for us. I think they'll tend to kind of fall apart before making it to us. If we see any rainfall from them at all, it'll probably be around the noontime hour as we see it, maybe a scattered shower or two move past, but then those will be in the process of, again, decaying away, and it'll be the last gasp if they do indeed hold together. Lots of bad weather across the nation today. If you're traveling, there are going to be airport delays. There's just no doubt about that. We have some very heavy areas of snowfall moving into areas of Pennsylvania, New York, right now moving through the Ohio Valley, and there's lots of snow and ice mix as well. Freezing rain, a big problem. Ice warnings up for parts of Pennsylvania and New York, and total accumulations in the higher elevations of Pennsylvania and New York could top 1 foot. So this is a significant early season storm. The low pressure area itself lifts off to the north and to the east. High pressure builds in. We are left with drier air moving in, and I think we'll see that. The rains will end. We'll have late day clearing, and it'll be much cooler tonight. Futurecast shows that rain shower kind of dissipating away, falling away, leaving us with a pretty quiet evening, and then the drier air filters in, and our weather has changed when that happens for probably 5 to 7 days into the future. We'll have a series of little injections of cooler, drier air, kind of keeping our rain chances minimal and keeping us in sunshine and keeping us in these cooler temperatures as well. Northeast wind coming in at about 20 today. Small craft advisories are up. Rip current's a problem. Obviously not a great day for boating today. We'll go with 74 for our high with a 20% rain chance. Tomorrow, full sun, cool temperatures. This should be just a beautiful day. Just be a little bit breezy out there. And the low temperature Friday night into Saturday could bottom out near 50 with some 40s in inland areas. So significant changes. And then over the next 7 days, I think, we are looking at some very nice weather indeed. Holding in the 70s with nighttime lows in the low, cool, crisp 60s. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, John. Taking a look now at first alert traffic. We begin in Manatee County, where you're still seeing some delays on State Road 64 as you head westbound there. Other than that, nothing to report in Manatee County. As we head south into northern Sarasota County, your usual delays on US 41, where US 41 and US 301 meet. Other than that, it's all clear. And in the southern part of southern Sarasota County, things are running smoothly at 519 on your Thursday morning.
A Florida woman with an aggressive form of lung cancer had a wish. She wants to see Disney World with her grandkids, but they can't afford it. Reporter Andrew Laughlin tells us what happened next.
You don't normally choose your family, but this story is an exception.
I tell everybody, Chris is my brother. Corey is my sister.
It was a legal promise 3 years ago, a contingency plan just in case. Chris Gamble has been Linda's supervisor at the Fairwinds Golf Course in St. Lucie County for 20 years. They became friends, and now they're family.
If it wasn't for Chris and Corey, I probably couldn't have adopted my kids.
That's because when Linda took custody of her grandkids 3 years ago, she had to find someone to agree to adopt them if something ever happened to her. Chris and his wife Corey stepped right up.
We all started spending time together. We spent holidays together and getting to know each other so that, if something should happen, the transition could happen less painfully than if they were to go with strangers.
2 months later, Linda was diagnosed with an aggressive form of lung cancer.
My baby wanted to go to Disney World, and we wanted this to come true, that he go to Disney World. So if anything happened to me, he could say, I enjoyed Disney World with my grandma.
Enter Big Apple Pizza here in Fort Pierce. They hosted a fundraiser here to make sure Disney would happen. Linda, as she always does, smiling and dancing all the way to Main Street, USA.
I'm gonna whoop this. I'm not gonna let it get the best of me. And I'm gonna enjoy my kids and enjoy my boss, and wherever I go, I'm gonna just enjoy life.
If, they do lose their grandma, it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna do everything we can to make it as easy as possible.
All right. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, an iPhone X user in Washington State reports that his device started smoking and exploded. During a recent software update, we'll have the latest in today's Tech Bites.
And next half hour, what Manatee County added to its 911 services that could save lives. 5:21 right now. Broward County working hard to meet that 3 p.m. deadline. Not working very hard.
Not
right
as
there.
active as yesterday. They're all sitting around yesterday. They were up and about and moving and counting.
Well, the Miami Herald says that the Broward Elections Office thinks they'll be done by this morning. Perhaps that fellow in the blue shirt is.
They may be finished now.
Can't even fake it right there. The recount, of course, on the governor's office, the Senate office, agriculture office, 3 o'clock deadline. Hello.
Oh.
Sarasota County says they're already done locally. We'll have more news coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
It's year-end clearance time at every Gettle location. Over 3,000 new vehicles, over 1,000 used vehicles on clearance right now at Gettle.com. And Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Get credit help, fast cash for your car, and year-end clearance prices right now at a Gettle dealership near you. Gettle's got it. At Gettle.com.
Where to go and what to do in Muscle Shoals in Florence, Alabama. Personalized just for you. Find your sweet spots at alabama.travel/sweetspot.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Saturdays at midnight on ABC 7.
An iPhone X user says his device basically blew up recently during an upgrade of his operating system.
The story in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, an Apple explosion.
This is an iPhone 10 after its owner says the device started smoking, then caught fire while updating its operating system. He says he was using an Apple cable and wall adapter when the fire sparked. Apple now has the phone and is investigating.
There may be some bad blood between Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg and Apple's Tim Cook. Zuckerberg has reportedly ordered his management team to only use Android phones.
Wow, that order came down after Cook criticized Facebook in an interview, calling it a service that traffics in people's personal lives. Finally, the Army has a new recruiting tool.
It is forming its own esports team in hopes of encouraging more young Americans to consider joining the armed forces. The team will travel to video game tournaments where they will try to raise awareness about the military.
And those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, sponsored by Disabled American Veterans.
I am a veteran. I spent 2 years alone and homeless.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory was finding the support to get back on my feet.
DAV helps veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran. When I got out, I felt like nowhere was safe.
So veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory was finding the help I needed. Thanks to DAV, now I feel like I'm human again.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Well, my rough and bumpy skin is on the back of my arms. Nothing I've ever tried worked.
Gold Bond Rough and Bumpy Skin Therapy exfoliates, smooths, softens, reduces bumps 74%.
I have nice, smooth skin because of Gold Bond.
Ultimate Lotion, Ultimate Skin.
The Enchanted Disney Fine Jewelry Collection, featuring exclusive styles you will only find at Zales. Happily Forever After begins at Zales, the Diamond Store.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Me, pick me. Oh, come on, man. Oh, man, I love technology. Hey, yo, check out my new phone. Look at this right here. For years, the DeSoto Club has needed improvements. Join me and Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County as we raise money to build a brand new facility. It will be bigger and better, just like it was 40 years ago when I attended. Invest in kids. Build great futures.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
We have so much ground to cover, so many homes to deal with.
Coming up, the California wildfires death toll now up to at least 56 people. And this morning, the National Guard is doing everything they can to locate missing people amongst the rubble.
Plus, how victims of last week's shooting in a California country music bar were honored last night's Country Music Awards. What's the story?
And new developments now in a Northport bus stop fight involving two parents. What one parent is now charged with. Those stories and more right now on Good Morning Suncoast. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It is Thursday morning, 5:30 this morning, Friday Eve. I'm Jess Dodger.
Yeah, I'm Ray Collins, and certainly a change out there.
Yeah, you can start to feel it. I could feel it inside my home this morning, but I guess it'll change dramatically as we head into the night.
John, a little chillier and also some drizzle out there right now.
I think a lot of people are going to be running the heat tonight. I really do. I think temperatures are going to fall off pretty quickly after we get through the afternoon hours. Yeah, we got a little bit of patchy drizzle. That's in the process of kind of falling apart right now. Cortez, Palmasola, Skyway Bridge, all seeing a little bit. Bayshore Gardens seeing a little bit of patchy drizzle around. But generally speaking, I think we're in the process of kind of getting rid of this. We had some pretty decent overnight rains, some half-inch rainfalls. Cooper in central Sarasota, our youngest weather watcher, reported that in. Otherwise, we got some showers to the north of us, but I really don't think those are going to bother us too much. The system of low pressure is lifting off to the north and to the east so that we are seeing improving conditions as the cold front kind of moves through. It's basically right over us now, the cold front is. And as it sinks southward, we get a little bit of that cloud cover because of the colder air going over the relatively warmer Gulf waters. Temperatures across the region generally 69, 70s are pretty widespread. We had a temperature just after midnight of 73, and that may end up being our high temperature of the day. With a little bit of sunshine, perhaps we'll get up to a 74-degree temperature or so by noon before we really start to cool. But the temperatures tonight are going to be really, really a big change. We'll talk about that in a sec.
All right, let's talk about weather right now. Here's the traffic right now. Here's the scene in Manatee County. Little blip there on 14th Street West as you travel over State Road 70. Also some action there as Cortez winds toward downtown Bradenton. Checking farther south now, here's the scene in the northern half of Sarasota County. Some congestion along the Bayfront. You'll see all the way from the Ringling Causeway to the 301-41 juncture. Some slow traffic there already this morning. And then South County, we'll check that map and see a little blip there on 41 northbound as you go from Jacaranda toward Center Road.
As death tolls continue to rise in California wildfires, the National Guard is searching for people still missing among the rubble left behind. Right now, at least 56 people have been killed by the wildfires. CNN's Dan Simon reports.
Identified any casualties?
It begins at the Twin Pines bowling alley, the rendezvous for protective gear.
There you go.
It's these people who have the grim task of finding human remains.
We are going to continue searching because there are a lot of people that want some answers. They are depending on us to find their loved one.
With the possibility of a much higher death toll, more than 100 people are still unaccounted for. National Guard soldiers are in the town of Paradise to look for victims.
So we don't know exactly where we're going, but we're told that this is a targeted search, that it's in an area where family members have reported their loved ones missing. And notably, there won't be any cadaver dogs because, quite frankly, there just aren't enough dogs to go around.
First location, a destroyed house on the outskirts of town. You can see how painstaking this process can be, literally just moving mounds of metal to see if they can find any trace of human remains. The process will be repeated over and over.
We have so much ground to cover, so many homes to deal with.
And it could take weeks to complete the search. The fire burns so hot, some victims may never be found. And there's another complication.
We're trying to determine the difference between human remains and non-human remains. Because it can be extremely difficult in these fires to make that differentiation for those of us that are untrained.
A team of anthropologists is on the ground to help determine the difference. The Paradise Fire is already the deadliest on record in California and the most destructive. Because the fire spread so fast, Officials feared early on there would be a high number of fatalities. Many residents of Paradise are elderly retirees. As family members wait to hear what happened to their loved ones, these soldiers are working hard to give them the answers they need. Dan Simon, CNN, Paradise, California.
Meantime, look at this in Northern California. Community coming together to help those impacted by the deadly fires. Right now, a flag at half staff as a parking lot in Chico, California, fills up with donations. For those affected by the so-called campfire, officials are expecting the death toll to rise in the coming days.
Now on to another tragedy that also took place in California. The victims of the deadly shooting rampage that took place at a bar in Thousand Oaks, California. Those victims were honored at the Country Music Awards Wednesday night. Country legend Garth Brooks paid them a tribute at the ceremony in Nashville.
I'm Garth Brooks, and on behalf of our country music community, I want to say that tonight's show is lovingly dedicated to the 12 individuals whom we lost far too soon just a week ago tonight at the borderline in Thousand Oaks, California. Tonight, let's celebrate their lives. Let the music unite us with love and their enduring memory. So please, join me now in a moment of silence.
The 12 victims were killed after a gunman, David Long, opened fire at the bar. That happened last Wednesday. A medical examiner now says they all died from gunshot wounds, with 10 of those victims being shot several times. Long was pronounced dead after officials arrived from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
And the sheriff's sergeant killed in that bar last week will be remembered now. Sergeant Ron Heelis was among the first officers to respond to the shooting in Thousand Oaks. He was shot several times as he tried to confront the gunman. Heelis was set to retire next year after serving 29 years in law enforcement. Back here in the Suncoast, Manatee County has added potentially life-saving advancements to its 911 service. Rapid SOS is an emergency data service that gives dispatchers an accurate call location from a cell phone. It updates their location every 10 seconds if the person is moving. The 911 center is working closely now with 6 surrounding counties, including Sarasota. The emergency communications chief is calling this a much-needed upgrade.
When they were trying to figure out how to get this information, this call location data to 911 centers, we were on it. This is that important, we believe. An accurate call location with a cell phone has never been done before. So when we were able to get that data, we wanted to be right on top of it to be able to receive accurate call location.
They're also working now with Uber as well. If you dial 911 from your Uber app while riding, they can get the location of the vehicle, the driver's name, and the license plate.
Northport police say rumors of a threat at a middle school are not credible. On their Twitter account, they said they had numerous calls made involving a threat at Woodland Middle. On Tuesday morning, a suspicious email was found in Charlotte County about a threat made to other Florida schools, but that too turned out to be a false alarm. The message originated in Canada and does not affect any schools here on the Suncoast.
An investigation is underway this morning after a Manatee County Sheriff's canine bit a teacher in Palmetto. The sheriff's office says the deputy was dropping off his son at the Imagine Charter School when the teacher opened the back door of the marked canine vehicle. Not a good idea. The dog then bit the teacher, causing 2 punctures to the teacher's abdomen. The teacher was rushed to the hospital with minor injuries.
New developments now in a Northport bus stop fight involving 2 parents. 32-year-old Leslie Erugius of Northport is now charged with aggravated battery. Police say after being physically confronted, the victim used a coffee mug to fight back, hitting Erugius in the head, neck area and cutting her. Erugius then used a broken piece of the mug as a weapon, cutting the victim. More than 24 students getting on the school bus witnessed this incident.
Manatee County Sheriff deputies are trying to find the man who held up a convenience store in West Bradenton. He tried to anyway. He walked into the 7-Eleven Tuesday morning and told the clerk he had a gun and demanded money. The clerk hit the emergency button, which caused the would-be thief to run off. He's described as about 20 years old, short, twisty hair, wearing a black shirt turned inside out, and basketball shorts. If you can help find this man, call the Manatee County Sheriff's Office.
The city of Venice is now jumping on the anti-skimming bandwagon. Even though it's already against the law across the state, the city wants to make harsher laws with more consequences within the city limits. The mayor of Venice wants city staff to draft an ordinance based on the city of Punta Gorda's law. In September, Punta Gorda adopted an ordinance requiring city gas stations to upgrade their pump security.
Happening today, Manatee County hosts their 4th annual Small Business Expo. About 20 local businesses will be taking place there at the Central Library on the riverfront. The expo gives business owners a chance to network and promote their products and services to each other. It's taking place from 9:30 a.m. until noon today. It's a free event and open to the public. Still ahead, we'll preview today's discussion involving a proposed project for the corner of US 41 and Stickney Point Road. We'll go live to the site and talk to Marla Spence about both sides.
Now we're taking a live look at the city of Sarasota, where you may not be able to see it, but we've been experiencing some drizzles this morning and the cold air is moving in. Let's head over to meteorologist John Scalzi.
Yeah, the drizzle is few and far between, but it is still out there in the process of falling away. If you are thinking of going to the beach today, it's going to be kind of cloudy, actually. And you may get a little bit of drizzle during the morning hours. Temperatures will be maxing out at about 74, and that'll be around noontime or so. And then fall off through the afternoon. By sunset, we'll be down to 65. And we have an increasing rip current threat and a small craft advisory with cloudy skies. Red tide status, well, it's gotten a little bit worse at Lido Key, and I'll have to let you know that we are going to experience a strong onshore wind flow for the next several days, which could aggravate the red tide toxins in the air. We'll be right back with your forecast.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we have a 69-degree air temperature. We have a north-northwest wind coming in at about 15, with gusts even higher than that, up to 20, and a dew point value coming in at 67. So we're looking at, I think big changes coming up over the course of the afternoon. Certainly this morning, we'll have a little patchy drizzle around. Temperatures will stay relatively stable. We'll probably gain a few degrees as the sun dawns on the Suncoast, but we'll have a lot of cloud cover around too. And it's going to be very difficult for that sunshine to boost our temperatures because we're not going to get a lot of sunshine. The clouds will kind of block the solar heating. Plus, we're getting some cooler air coming in on that northwest wind. So those two things fighting against the sunshine keep us at a stable temperature right through about noon. Wind will maybe top it out at about 74. At that point, I think our rain chances will start to diminish. And then as we head into the afternoon, maybe kind of a mix of sun and clouds. But despite the fact that we may see the sun peek through those clouds, our temperatures will start to fall. They'll start to fall because that cold air will finally arrive, and that will start to drop our temperatures pretty quickly into the 60s this afternoon. And by the time we get to tonight, tomorrow morning at this time, we'll be looking at temperatures that'll be in the 50s, low 50s. In fact, and in inland areas, they'll be in the 40s. And this is not a one-day event. This is going to be several days in a row. We'll see these temperatures that'll be kind of on the chilly side, at night anyway. We'll look at the rain showers over near Highlands County, but just not a whole lot of action around here. Some of the little patches of drizzle are kind of dissipated away in Manatee County. Otherwise, across the Suncoast, I think most of the commute time will be spent dry. Like I say, only a small chance of an isolated shower for the next hour. So the front is actually through our area now. That's why the winds have shifted northwest. We still have some of that cooler, drier air kind of coming in over the relatively warmer Gulf waters, and that tends to pick up the moisture from the Gulf and produce these low-hanging clouds. And from some of them, we get a little bit of drizzle. That's what we're seeing up near Cape San Blas up in the Panhandle. Now, as that front continues to sink south and the cold air continues to drain in, a lot of these showers are going to just fall apart before making it to us. The front passes by, high pressure builds in, the low exits off the New England coast, and we're left with some pretty nice conditions around here for the extended range. Rains kind of end under these cloudy skies, but the clouds will start to clear out as we head later in the day, and then much cooler tonight. That's the forecast. Futurecast shows those few scattered showers kind of mixing away, leaving us with a pretty nice evening, I think. As the clouds begin to melt away, we'll watch for mostly sunny conditions tomorrow, I think, with a lot of the cloud cover kept out in Gulf waters by shifting winds as that high moves to the east. Take a look at these temperature trends. These are low temperature trends, nighttime temperatures over the next several days. 51 tonight, and then Friday into Saturday, 49 perhaps, and then temperatures kind of stay on the cooler side of what we have been experiencing, about 10 degrees cooler than we have been experiencing, right straight through the 5 days ahead. So this is going to be a prolonged period, a significant weather change. Northeast wind at 20, the rip current advisory is up, small craft advisory is up. Not a good day out on the waters for water activities anyway. 20% chance of showers through about noon, then slow gradual clearing. Overnight low 52 we'll go with. And then on Friday, 68 degrees. That's it for a daytime high temperature under full sunshine. Next several days will feature temperatures that'll slowly moderate, but still keep us in the 70s with cool, crisp nights. Back to you.
All right, certainly starting to feel like fall. Thanks, John. Taking a look now at your first alert traffic. An earlier issue on State Road 64 seems to be cleared. You're seeing some congestion on State Road 70 now as you head westbound toward US 301. Other than that, nothing major to report happening in Manatee County at this hour as we head south into Sarasota County this morning. Take a look there. You're seeing some delays on US 301 as you're heading southbound toward the US 41 intersection. That's your typical delays that you'll see there. Other than that, things are running smoothly. And as we head even further south into the southern half of Sarasota County, everything is running smoothly. It's all green at 548 on your Thursday morning.
Now, since a gas station was knocked down, the corner of US 41 and Stickney Point Road in Sarasota County has sat vacant now for more than 10 years.
But now Benderson Development wants to build condos, shops, and even a restaurant on that corner lot and call it the Siesta Promenade. ABC 7's Marla Spence has a preview of today's County Planning Commission meeting and what it could mean for the future of this project. Marla.
Hey, Ray and Jess. Today, Benderson Development will be meeting with Sarasota County's Planning Commission on its plans to bring a major retail, hotel, and housing development right here on this property. It'll be known as Siesta Promenade. Now, this is a project that's been in the works for some years now. Benderson wants to build 414 apartment units, a 130-room hotel, and retail shops made up of 140,000 square feet. Now, the entire project will cover about 24 acres of this property. Benderson Benderson also says Siesta Promenade will create over 250 jobs and $10 million in tax revenue. Now, the only issue here is that some people who live in this area oppose the idea. Some people who commute on or live on Siesta Key are concerned that traffic from the new development will make getting on and off the key pretty hard for them. A group of Sarasota residents also have concerns. They've been voicing their concerns about the property for a while now. They say that they plan to be at today's meeting after a number of protests and signed petitions against Benderson.
We had over 1,300 signatures on there just through social media sharing. We did have a demonstration here on Veterans Day on Sunday. Had over 165 people out here for an hour, really, trying to say, we don't want this density. We understand that Benderson has a right to develop this property, but they should not be developing it at the intensity and density of use that they are requesting.
And many people, just like that woman you just heard from, are concerned that traffic will be going into their neighborhoods, which is just feet away from where I am standing currently. They're also concerned that not only will traffic go into their neighborhoods, but it'll block their roads, which are pretty much narrow. We had a chance to look at those roads on yesterday. In addition to that, they are concerned that existing businesses in this area will lose out on money because they would have to compete with the businesses that'll be placed here on this property. Now, many of those who are concerned will be at that planning meeting today at 5 p.m. Reporting in Sarasota, Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right. Thank you, Marla. Breaking news we're following this morning for two separate crimes in both Sarasota and Manatee counties. In Manatee, sheriff's deputies are investigating a homicide. Investigators say a witness found a man on fire on MJ Road in Mayaca City around 11:30 last night. The victim was pronounced dead on the scene by EMS. Detectives have not released any other information about the victim, but they do say they are investigating the death as a homicide. Anyone with information is asked to call the Manatee County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers.
And then a shooting last night in Sarasota County left one man injured. About 8 o'clock last night, deputies answered a call of shots fired at 18th Street. They quickly set up a perimeter and a helicopter searched overhead. Deputies did arrest a suspect on Euclid Avenue, less than half a mile from where that shooting happened. Deputies say a man was injured and taken to Sarasota Hospital. His condition is not known at this point. 5:52, we'll come back with the day's top 3 headlines. First, here's a peek outside at the, no, we won't. More headlines after this.
It's year-end clearance time at every Gettle location. Over 3,000 new vehicles, over 1,000 used vehicles on clearance right now at Gettle.com. And Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Get credit help, fast cash for your car, and year-end clearance prices right now at a Gettle dealership near you. Gettle's got it. At Gettle.com.
My grandpa was always telling me about it.
But the civil rights thing happened like a million years ago.
Still, he thought it was important that I know what it was like.
So we followed the civil rights trail to Alabama. We saw Dr. King's church,
the bridge in Selma, the church in Birmingham, and I finally knew what he was talking about.
Some things you just have to experience for yourself.
Start your civil rights journey at alabama.travel.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices. They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly 1 in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish! In your face, in your face,
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Here are the stories we're following for you on the Suncoast today.
Manatee County Sheriff deputies are investigating a grisly homicide last night in Myakka City. They arrived and found a man on fire.
Plus, a man is shot on 18th Street in Sarasota County. Deputies say the shooter ran off but was later arrested on Euclid Avenue, less than half a mile from where the incident happened. The victim is at Sarasota Memorial Hospital.
And a search is on for this man who tried to rob a 7-Eleven on Tuesday night in Northwest Bradenton. Deputies say he ran off when the clerk pushed an emergency button.
Now let's head over to meteorologist John Scalzi for one last look at the weather.
Yeah, the front is through. We're watching the last few areas of drizzle move through the area. They're few and far between, and they really won't last that long before our temperatures will start to fall markedly over the course of the afternoon and into the evening. We'll detail that for you in a few minutes. Back to you.
Well, we'll tell you next hour about a woman in St. Petersburg accused of taking more than mints off the counter as she left the Red Lobster last weekend. She also took a lobster.
It's an interesting story there. I'm not sure why that happened, but we'll have that story and much more coming back right after the break.